But I'm not going to keep you in suspense. The death of singing, neutrality. What's neutrality? Good question. In this video, I'm going to help you recognize it, understand why it's a problem, how to overcome it, and how the solution can help us at auditions. Hi, I'm Scott. You're watching Inside Musicals, the channel for all things musical theatre. Neutral singing is the vocal equivalent of a blank face. You know, if I said, "This is the best gift ever, I love it so much, you're the greatest," you'd say I was either insincere, sarcastic, or bored. Because the tone of my voice doesn't match the intent of my words. And that's just acting 101. But a lot of singers don't make that connection to the sound, and it sucks the vitality out of the voice. Because we can all obsess over perfect resonance or mouth shapes. We might even add some emphasis for dynamics. This is the best gift ever. I love it so much. You're the greatest. But if that's all it is, it's just empty technique, because those arbitrary, unmotivated patterns aren't supported by an idea. Not only is it bizarre, but that neutrality just feels inauthentic. So expression must be specific. And we hear it in those subtle variations of tone, colour, intensity and timing that convey the essence of what we're communicating. Here's an example. Compare Dame Joan Sutherland and Maria Callas. And yes, this is an older opera reference, but they're both long dead. They're not going to get their feelings hurt. Sutherland has a sweet purity of tone, but there's an unrelenting sameness, a non-committal blandness of someone who can sing the notes and, admittedly, sing them capably, and it all makes musical sense. There's not much else going on up there. Whereas Callas, who at the time was often criticised for sacrificing the beauty of the voice for the sake of the drama, leaned into the emotion, whatever it was, to produce a sound that moves the audience because it's connected to what she's singing. And it's exciting because it seems spontaneous, it's dangerous, and it sounds authentic. I mean, just think of how we alter our voice to engage children in a story. Which would you prefer? Well-shaped words? Once upon a time, there was a big bad wolf and 3 little pigs. Or something more pointed. Once upon a time, there was a big bad wolf and 3 little pigs. Maybe not as beautiful, but perhaps more effective. And so that specific bias of my inflection helps us interpret the words. So it's not just about having a nice voice, but having the right voice for the meaning. So how do we bring that into our singing voice? Because it's one thing to feel the emotions, another thing to turn that into a sound. When I start working with singers, I often ask them to keep 2 things in mind. If these lyrics were dialogue, how would you speak it? And at any given moment, is it good or bad for your character? That gives us a basic understanding. Then we do a simple exercise I call the smile or the sob. And the first step really is simple as that. We try to capture the sound or the contrasting sound between a smile and a sob on a simple sigh. That's a lot of S's. So first, with a smile. Ah. Then with a sob. Ah. Now technically, a smile often produces a warmer, balanced tone, which is a really good place to start. And a sob is often a tighter sound. It could be brighter or it could be darker. But by leaning into the idea, we start to connect a feeling with a sound. And it might seem weird at first to start with only 2 expressions, but it gives it at least one emotional contrast, and the colour is endlessly variable. You know, a smile could range from a barely there Mona Lisa smile to being on the verge of outrageous laughter. So it could convey wry amusement, joy, compassion, tenderness, or even exhilaration. I'm so happy I could cry. Same thing with a sob. It could convey sadness, trepidation, longing, or even fury, depending on the intensity. I'm so happy I could cry. We could combine them. I'm so happy I could cry. Whereas the neutral sound, I'm so happy I could cry. Sounds kind of detached and pompous. And look, maybe there's a place for that. Yay, third expression. But for perfect examples of the smile and the sob in action, listen to Paige O'Hara singing Belle in Disney's Beauty and the Beast, or Jodie Benson singing Ariel in Little Mermaid. And notice how much life they bring to the animation, and how this conversational approach to a vocal, far from undermining the lyricism, beauty, or strength of the voice, actually enhances it because it humanizes it. So here's some tips to make the most of this approach. Get comfortable with sounding over the top. You can always pull it back later. The important thing is to get out of neutral into first gear. Oh my God, a car reference. A car reference from me? That's weird. Let's get back to theatre. Start big, start clear. It's better. Once we get used to this technique, we don't have to physically smile or sob to produce a sound, particularly if, say, a goofy smile is not appropriate to the scene. Instead, we can internalise it, or we find some other physicality to help support the idea. And if you're that singer who only sings from the neck up, and I know you're out there, this technique can help ground the performance into the body because it connects with gesture. Ironically, while it takes a little more effort, it actually makes the singing easier, and you'll come across as a braver, bolder, more authentic singer. And remember, a sob and a smile is not the end point, it's just a way in to more nuanced expression. So if you'd like me to go deeper into expressive singing, let me know. Now, you could try to get to the same result by focusing separately on energy, breath, volume, attack, timbre, mouth shape, facial expression, gesture. That's a lot to hold in your mind. But by reducing it to a simple idea of a smile or a sob, you naturally coordinate all these other techniques so they're working together toward the same goal. So how can this help us at auditions? Inevitably, they're going to throw you some new music to learn at short notice. And I see a lot of singers wait until they feel comfortable with the words and the notes before they add expression. But if your default, right from the very first sing-through, is a warm, smiling tone, you're going to sound that much closer to a competent performance, and you'll stand out from other singers. Because even before you understand the full meaning of the song, a generalised smiling tone is going to be much more engaging than a generalised neutral. And hey, if you can add a strategic sob here and there, so much the better. If you find this tip useful, share the video with someone who'd appreciate it. And if you already subscribed, be sure to check the notifications button because I know some of you aren't hearing about new videos. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Now get out there and be brilliant.